Good day, everybody. All right. So, anyway, finding peace and simplicity, and connecting with your kids. If you have children, right? Um, I have a niece and a nephew, and I have a sibling. My sister, she has two kids. Um, and I've dated a lot of people that have had kids and things like that. And Having a master's in education, and having to read a lot about adolescent psychology, childhood psychology, books on it, textbooks on it. Uh, I've learned a lot about kids, especially working with kids as long as I have, both at summer camps and schools. I've taught everything from preschool to seniors in high school, 18-year-olds, 3-year-olds to 18-year-olds for years. So three of the things that are really cool is when your kid gets home from school every night, instead of saying, "How was your day?" They could just be like, "Oh, it was good." That was it, But instead of saying that, in order to get to know your kid better and connect with your kid more, a thing that I do with my niece and a thing that I've learned to do is say, "What was your favorite thing that happened to you today at school?" And they tell you, and they kind of have to think about it, right? Or, "What was the funniest thing that happened to you today? Did anything funny happen today? What was the funniest thing that happened to you today?" And they tell you that. And you could always ask them if you really want to go deep and to really know everything about your kid. Be like, "Well, what was the worst thing that happened to you today? Did anything bad happen? Like, what was the worst thing that happened to you today?" And you'd be like, "Oh, the worst thing that happened to me today." Be like, "Oh, some kid called me a name." And you'd be like, "Oh, what did the kid call you? What did the kid say to you?" Like, "Oh, they called me, gay or a loser, or, they called me a nerd, or, you know." And that way you could like really get to know and talk to your kid. Make sure, see if they're really going through issues, see if there's something really troubling them, and they might not tell you these things if you just ask them like, "Oh, how was your day at school?" They might not dig deep enough to give you that information about being called a name, being picked on, being bullied, or something that happened to them that was more fun. And so that those are three things that you could do. What was your favorite thing that happened to you today? What was the funniest thing that happened to you today at school today? And what was like the worst thing that happened to you at school today? And by focusing and asking those three questions, you could get to know your kid more. You could connect with your kid more, and you could have a better relationship, get to know each other more, and you could also express what happened to you at work. What was your favorite thing that happened to you today? Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, or whether you go to work every day, or stay-at-home dad, or whether you go to work every day, you could express and talk about what your favorite thing was, or what the worst thing happened to you was, because the more vulnerable you are, the more people are going to trust you and build a relationship with you. If every time you meet somebody and you're like, "Oh, my day was great," people are gonna be like, "Okay, so this person never suffers. This person never goes through anything. This person's probably not like I am." The more vulnerable you seem to somebody, the more human you appear, and the more people are going to, you know, feel connected to you. Because they feel like, "Oh, this person's a human too. This person's just like me." They have bad things that happen to. They have challenges that happen to them. Sometimes they, come across things that, are upsetting. So to express yourself to your kid and make yourself seem human. There's this guy named Garson Killer once, and he told this story, this Lake Wobegon story, and it was about how he used to always had this really hard time connecting with his dad and his mom, and he always saw them as these stone statues, these figures that never had issues, or they always seemed so perfect or whatever. And then as he got older and his parents were dying and his parents were in their 80s and he was in his 50s, he started to realize that his parents were just human, and they didn't seem like these gigantic stone statues anymore that were perfect without problems. So yeah, it's important to um, be vulnerable sometimes and not seem so perfect, and talk with your kids. um, um, get to know them, even if they're not your kids, even if they're your niece and nephew. There's this homeless kid that rides the bus, and I talk to him all the time, and I tell him about Eckhart Tolle if he's ever on YouTube, because he's extremely helpful for people. Uh, and Sometimes I tell them about things that happened to me in my past, and what's going on now, and we connect quite a bit. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that, like, I'm interested in getting to know people, but I'm also I don't want to ever come across as this stone statue that's perfect. Um, so getting to know people. Um, uh, as far as finding peace and simplicity raising a child, the one thing that works really well is um, not having cell phones around, eliminating TV, movies, Netflix, YouTube, internet, all those things. Because what you'll realize after a while is that a lot of the stress, a lot of the complexity that comes with raising children or just having a home environment is that you really don't have much time on your hand. Things seem complex and stressful when you have no time. You know, you're rushing around, you're trying to get things done, you're trying to get homework done, you're trying to cook dinner, da la la la, you're trying to get all these things accomplished. And one thing that really frees up a lot of time where you could actually spend quality time with your kids after the dinner and after the homework is to eliminate all cell phones, eliminate all laptops, eliminate all Netflix, YouTube, uh, all these things. So all of a sudden, you eliminate all of these things that you watch on rectangles and boxes and laptops and televisions. You eliminate these things, and then all of a sudden, you're like, oh my gosh, we have so much more time to spend with each other. We have so much more time to connect with each other. We have so much more time to take walks. We have so much more time to just sit on the floor and just hang out and play a board game or have a dinner together, and eat a meal together. We have so much more time now. But I'm gonna tell you this. Once you step away from YouTube and Netflix and everything like that, it's really hard at first. The kids are not going to like it. You're not going to like it because you've gotten so accustomed to being entertained by a screen. You've gotten so accustomed to being entertained by YouTube and Netflix all the time. So when you step away from that and you eliminate the YouTube, the Netflix, the Hulu, the Google, the Pinterest, the Facebook, once you eliminate these things from your life, you are going to go through withdrawal, and you might experience depression, and you might be like, oh man, God, I just wish I could watch that. God, I'm so bored, I just want to be entertained. And you're going to feel that way. You really are. I went through that. And you're going to miss it because those people have become your friends. The YouTube videos, the shows on Netflix, the movies, these people have become your friends. Even though they're actors or actresses or, videos, these people have become a part of your life. So you are going to miss them, and you are going to miss the YouTube. You're going to miss the Netflix. But you have to ask yourself, what's more important? Are my children more important? Spending time with my children more important? Not being stressed because I feel like I'm always rushing around and I don't have enough time? Or are these actors and actresses and videos, on Netflix and YouTube more important? So you have to ask that question to yourself, like, what's more important to you? Having a peaceful life, simple life, or staring at a screen, watching people you don't even know? Yeah, the one thing that I came across this when I was watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, because my niece was into it, my sister was into it, and I was just like, yeah, let me watch it. And at first, I really liked it. I was like on episode 6 or 7. I was like, this is a great show. But by episode 18, I was like, I'm really wasting my time. And I know this is good because I get to connect with my sister and my niece because, we could talk about this show together. But I'm really wasting my time. And then I thought about like how writers and producers and all these people that collaborated this show for Amazon sit in rooms and they try to come up with something addicting for you to get hooked on. And then as soon as I thought about that, like, this is just an addiction, they try to make this addicting, I stopped watching right away. Because it just seemed unhealthy that people would get together to do that to us. So I stopped watching TV completely then. I don't think I've ever watched a TV show since. Well, The Dragon Prince, but that was just to talk to my niece about it. And it's a cartoon, and the producers and the people at Avatar Last Airbender did it, and I'm a big Avatar Last Airbender fan. It's got a lot of Chinese stuff in it. Big fan of Chinese stuff. Like Asian art. This means stillness, and this is Master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda. I made this shirt. Big fan. But anyway, so that's one way to be have a more peaceful time in the house, and have a more simple life in the home, is to eliminate all the stuff that you watch, Netflix, YouTube, all that stuff, and get away from it, and get away from computers, get away from cell phones. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, we have so much time. Let's spend some time together. This is awesome. I'm gonna spend some time with my kids. Because, believe it or not, even though if you work 2 jobs, you do have quite a bit of time. When I was in Thailand, I worked at a job where it took me half an hour to walk to my school. I worked 10 and a half hours a day, and then I had to walk a half an hour home. So that was 11 and a half hour days. So I was at work or walking or back and forth from work 11 and a half hours a day. And I still had enough time to do everything that I wanted to do. I was extremely peaceful. I was extremely happy. And everything was just amazing. And I had friendships and I had all these things. Everything was great. And the reason why I had that, even though I worked 11 and a half hour days, is because I eliminated all media. I eliminated cell phones. I eliminated laptops. I never watched YouTube. I never watched Netflix. I never watched anything. I didn't have a TV. I didn't have anything. And I worked 11 and a half hours a day. So you could have a peaceful, simple, functioning life. You just have to get away from these modern day technology things. And you'll find once you get over the hump, and it's very difficult because you are addicted to this stuff, just like I was. Once you get over that hump and you get over the addiction process, and the withdrawal, you'll find that your life is much happier in your home, and it's simple and it's peaceful. and and I think everybody will be happy overall. So connecting with your kids, the first three questions that I had in the beginning of the video, and getting off of all the media, internet, cell phones, laptops, TV, movies. Get off. Um, and also eat healthy, and work on time management. Get the kids to bed on time. You get to bed on time, so you don't have to rush out in and out of the door to go to work, to get the kids on the bus, or to get the kids to school. So working on time management is really good. Eating healthy so you can feel better every day. And getting 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep. And if you do those things, um, having children becomes more peaceful. Anyways, I hope everybody's having a good day. And if you do work 2 jobs, or if you do work 11.5 hours like I did in Thailand, realize that you have 24 hours a day. And if you are working 2 jobs and you're raising 2 or 3 kids and you're raising them on your own because your husband left you, or whatever the case may be, or your wife left you, or whatever the case is, it's hard. I mean, my mom was a single mom. She worked overtime every night. I was a latchkey kid. I had to make myself cheeseburgers and spaghetti. I pretty much had to raise myself for a long period of time in my life. Me and my sister, so it's hard. But, hopefully everything works. And I wish you the best. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Have fun. And Eckhart Tolle has some good advice on how to raise children as well. Eckhart Tolle, he's a pretty popular dude. He's got stuff on the pain body, the stuff called the pain body. That's very interesting. You could research Eckhart Tolle, Tolle, pain body, negative thinking. He's really cool. He's helped me and a lot of people through tough times. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Love you. Take care. Later.